If you broke up with an avoidant partner recently and want to figure out whether you should get back with them, whether you can get back with them, let me give you 10 subtle signs that they are circling back to you. Those signs will help you make the right decision and make sense of what's going on here with your avoidant partner. I'll explain everything after the jingle. So what happens is avoidants, they reappear in people's life when they feel safe. It's always a question of safety. It's not a question of feeling, it's a question of safety. And for avoidant people, the sense of safety is when they are emotionally safe, when they have when they can sort of deal with intimacy and emotion, which means with a distance. So the thing is, they will usually come back when they feel less threatened. So what is scaring them is intimacy, is potentially commitment. And so what happens usually after a breakup, especially if the relationship mattered, the fear of intimacy will disappear. So it's something discussed in my book, but also in the book attached, that avoidants tend to idealize the relationship after a breakup because there's no pressure from the relationship anymore, and what's left of the relationship is only the positive signs. Before I explain all the signs, actually, I forgot to mention, I put together something for you to gain clarity, an assessment tool that is, the link is in the description of this video, for you to make sense whether you should and could get back with your avoidant partner, giving you it's kind of a scoring system to make sense of the strength of the relationship, the mindset, their mindset, and also the situation itself. The return, however, is not always about missing you. So that's the thing where you have to be quite conscious, and if you've been following my videos, I'm very pragmatic. I'm not going to sugarcoat you. Sometimes they come back, sometimes they reappear in your life, but that's not good for you. Okay, and that's the point of the work that I do, is helping my clients figuring out whether getting back with them is actually a good decision. And so what will happen, and we'll discuss that in a second, they will test the water, subtly. Usually after a breakup, we want clarity. We want either closure, explanation, we want to make sense of things. Getting to that point is a journey with an avoidant because, as I discussed, they are scared of emotional intimacy. And so what you need to get, that emotional connection, having them to open up, is something that arrives later on. And so what you'll see is usually low signs, and that's why it's very subtle, of commitment, of interest. Your job is to draw a big picture, whether this is going in the right direction or not. I can't make that call for you. You have to determine, because you know them, because now you know about attachment style, whether this person means they can also meet your needs. So there's also work to be done in terms of your boundaries, figuring out your needs, your non-negotiables, etc., etc. First sign, they start liking your social media post again. This is the most common one. It's the lowest, it's not the lowest, but it's a very low commitment element. Liking something, following a story, etc., etc. They can feel they're part of your life, but there's no commitment, there's no pressure. It's also very much non-confrontational. So avoidant people, they avoid confrontation at all costs. That's the thing that where I really struggled back in the days. I still sometimes need to work on that, but it's usually avoidant are scared of confrontation. And that's also why they have a hard time returning, is because they are scared of, if I return, if I show up, we're going to have a fight. We're going to discuss things I'm not ready or prepared to discuss. So usually all those signs are not direct communication, they are indirect. What you have to assess is whether there's a pattern, is whether at some stage they will increase the level of investment when it comes on the level of interaction. That's the words I'm looking for when it comes to social media. Second element, they reach out casually. That's also the frustrating part. You want them to reach out and apologize and discuss things, etc., etc. But usually they would be very, very casual, non-emotional topic. They're not going to discuss about past relationships. And if you're actually wondering whether you should get back whether you should break the contact or contact them. This is the kind of message or tone that you need to use. Something non-emotional, not talking about the past relationship, very superficial. So don't get me wrong, if you want to have a healthy relationship, you shouldn't have a superficial relationship. But in order to repair the bond with an avoidant person, you need to start superficial and go a little bit deeper and deeper week after week. So they might use humor, private jokes, shared interest, etc. Sometimes they ask you whether you remember the address of the brunch place you went, etc., etc. The thing is, it's also always about emotional distancing. So they will start with the lowest form of investment, of emotional investment, and then, as I said, as they feel safer, they will start to open up, start to warm up to the idea of a relationship on a different term, obviously. Third subtle sign is that they will inquire about your life indirectly. So as we said, very much non-direct form of communication, social media, asking you things casually, but also could ask your friends. So I discussed about social media. So friends, you might hear from mutual friends that they asked for you. The thing is, they are scared of rejection. Even if they broke up with you, getting back, contacting you is scary for them because you can be avoidant and be also scared of rejection. I'm still scared of rejection. And some people think, oh yeah, avoidant, they don't care. They don't care about anyone. So whether they get rejected or not, they don't really care because it doesn't affect them because they always put people at an arm's length. That's not always true in terms of their internal experience. We could fear rejection. So the thing is, again, desire to stay, desire to be curious about your life, and trying to avoid at all costs ways to be vulnerable directly. So they'll use a proxy usually to get in touch with you. Another famous and common sign is that they will bring shared memories. So again, they're leveraging past experiences, positive ones, to create a sense of emotional closeness. So the thing is, avoidant people tend to be quite awkward when it comes to building intimacy or emotional closeness. So the thing is, again, they are going to try to be, it's going to be very childish way of preparing things, very scripted sometimes. My view that sometimes they ask ChatGPT or look on Reddit on what they need to send to their partner. So you'll see things like almost, hey, na-na-na-na, yeah, have you seen this? Na-na-na-na, I remember, na-na-na-na. And it really, really looks like they're using AI or they're using a Reddit forum or any tips that you might see online on how to connect with the next after a breakup. Number 5 is they show up in places. So again, it's not direct communication. It's, I'm gonna be randomly bumping into you. They might actually not engage in any form of conversation. They're just curious, just want to see how you look, if you're happy, if you're sad, if you're seeing someone, by just sometimes bumping into you randomly. It's obviously not random. So if they see you at the gym, at your local coffee place, they know your schedule. So usually if they bump into you by mistake or randomly, it's usually not random. And again, when they bump into you, they have this sort of, I'm with you, but not necessarily with you. I can see you, maybe we can talk, but we're not in a relationship. So it feels safe, again, tipping the toe in the water just to test things, just to see how they feel actually as well, seeing you. And usually, again, all those signs are just giving you a hunch like, okay, what would be the starting point? This point, from number 1 to number 5, this is not enough for you to feel, we're gonna get back together. It's just to show you that, okay, you can start the work, you can start developing a secure base, communicating with them, and see how this relationship can develop. Number 6 is they offer help or support. So when you offer help and support, it's a very simple way to show that you care, but without having to have a conversation about feelings. And so it's also a way for you to, or for them to feel helpful. And again, kind of repair the bond. Maybe they hurt you, they know that you suffered after this breakup, so helping, supporting you is a way to also be around you and make up a little bit with you. Act of service is one of the love language, so perhaps they know it's your love language and it's one way to rekindle the relationship. Again, this is not something you need to take into account like, oh, they helped me to move out, so there's a strong chance that we're going to get back together. It's really assessing the consistency, assessing also the actions more than the words, and I'm going to come to that at the end of the video. Number 8, they mention about personal growth or changes, whether it's about therapy, self-improvement. The point is that they want to showcase, we broke up, I did this, I did that, but I'm changed, I'm a new person. And in a way, that's very positive that they have this mindset. And it's usually the hardest part when you're dealing with an avoidant is getting them to a form of growth. The problem with avoidant is that they tend to feel, I don't have a problem. My partner is the problem. I'm self-sufficient. I don't need anyone in my life. And so when they break up, when they have relationship difficulty, the default position is like, okay, my partner is the problem, and that's the reason we broke up. If they start having therapy, doing a lot of personal development, then they shifted their mindset in terms of, okay, I have also responsibility in this and I can change and I want to change. So this personal development thing is a fantastic way to bridge the relationship. Now, as I said before, you have to assess the actions, not the words. Hearing someone telling you, I've changed, it's going to be different, but they're not doing anything. Very simple action would be, I'm seeing a therapist. It's something that you can measure. It's something that's tangible, more than, I've understood everything, right? And I've changed and I'm willing to change. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense if it's not supported by action. Number 9, it's less common, but it's expressing jealousy. But when they express jealousy, it's very, very subtle. So they could react to a new relationship. They might use sarcasm when you're seeing someone or dating someone. Again, avoidant, they have a hard time expressing their emotion. So they will never say they're upset. They will never say that it makes them feel sad or depressed seeing you dating someone. And they will always use an indirect way to express that discomfort. Again, the point is to observe the patterns rather than just one incident, rather than one point. When I work with my clients, that's also the difficulty I have when people call me for the first time. They have a series of questions and they want me to anticipate what would be the next 30 days, 90 days with their avoidant partner. The point is, my job, the way I see my job, is to really gather data points. So usually when the onboarding call with my client it's a data gathering sort of exercise where we look at the relationship history, we look at all the data points, we draw a picture of the dynamic of the relationship. But then from today, this is a new set of things. We implement things, we try things, and then we try to gather the data. And we see, it's very hard to do when you're on your own. We look back and we try to see and draw the picture, try to bridge all the gaps and join all the dots to have the proper picture. And that's what you have to do. If you are in the today, yesterday, tomorrow mindset, the problem is you'll always have highs and lows, okay? And the problem with those situations, dealing with an avoidant, especially after a breakup, they're gonna be scared. They're gonna leave you waiting for a few days. They're not gonna answer your message. They might be hot and cold. The point is to assess the trajectory of things. And so again, with the jealousy, with all the things that I explained, it's really about assessing and seeing whether those signs are enough for you to try things with this partner. Because the point of this video is not to entertain any false hopes. My clients, if I see that it's not working out for them, I'm telling them, like, I'm giving you that clarity. My job is for them to feel better, not necessarily to get back with their ex. It doesn't make sense to get back with someone who's not willing to invest. It doesn't make sense to get back with someone who doesn't want to meet your needs, or doesn't understand what it means to be empathetic with their partner. So again, it's really to figure out, okay, can I take action? And then that's your job to repair the bond. Number 10 is they suggest meeting up casually. Again, that's a very good sign. That's not enough on its own. So usually they would do activities. And again, you can use everything that I said if you want to take the lead. So if you want to meet up with an avoidant partner, rather than going for a coffee to have a discussion, maybe do something together. Hike, climbing, tennis, whatever. It will really help them to have that emotional distance. The point is to start with those kind of interaction, and then, as I said, trying to develop as you go. It's something that I describe in the book that I wrote, Between Us, something that I implement with my clients, something that you can read online in terms of, okay, how can you repair the bond with an avoidant partner? You need to start from the lowest emotional level of intimacy and then build up gradually, knowing that you have a secure attachment style, a way for you to be the role model in this relationship. So have a look in the description if you need some support and gain clarity using my assessment. If you have any question on this, let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.